guys, welcome to my channel. This is my first time to do a live stream with a guest. Her name is Linda. Where are you based? How are you?
Right now, I'm in Dallas, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
originally from Kenya.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been here now, it's 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah. And I thank God and ready for the conversation.
Well, it sounds like you're so excited to be in Dallas. Are you loving it more than Kenya or?
Uh, Let me say, I want to say God is good
Mm-hmm.
because this far He has brought me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm excited because I have seen quite a lot and I'm ready to share my experience since I was a young kid up to this time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I've seen quite a lot.
Okay.
You may look at me and think I've not seen much, but I think we'll continue as I get along and you'll get to know how much I.
Okay. So you say you've been in Dallas for 5 years,
Yeah.
and obviously you're not a 5-year-old. So how did you find yourself there?
Okay, my story is long,
Mm.
of course, since I came to this earth. And
Mm-hmm.
what I'll do, I think I'll definitely, it's a summary because I can't write my whole life at this particular time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can do more episodes to cover more aspects of your life. So.
Okay, we'll roll as it goes, but I'll start from right when I was small up to
Mm-hmm.
where I am, and I believe I'll be able to summarize because at least I went to school and I know what summary is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how far back do you want to start?
Okay. Actually, it's a long story. Maybe if you want, if you'll have other series, maybe I can start since I was small because if I start when I was small, then it'll flow better. Because
Mm.
yeah, but I think I'll be able to summarize it up to this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay. So as I said, my name is Linda,
Mm-hmm.
originally from Kenya.
Yeah.
Uh, in Kenya, of course, we have many tribes.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, yeah. So I happen to be from the western.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I come originally. I'm from Busia,
Mm-hmm.
Marachi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
From a place called Busiada.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what I'll do, I'll start as when I knew myself, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when we are very young and you can vividly remember. But I can say I grew up in Buruburu, that is Nairobi. It's
Mm-hmm.
in France. It's a famous estate called Buruburu.
So
Yep.
the first estates for middle class,
Yeah, it's a
so-called middle class.
plus because but then since I was a young kid,
uh,
I think we the Eastlands people who have been in Eastlands and who are currently in
mm,
Eastlands can
mm.
attest that Buruburu was we were
Was.
called the Babis of East.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I thank God for my parents,
mm-hmm.
especially my dad, who used to work at the central bank, and at least he managed to secure a place where we call home. Up to now, actually, they are still there, and
Yeah.
I thank God because even right now, I believe they'll be able maybe to see this interview
Mm,
because I happen to be the firstborn,
mm,
so I know quite a bit.
yeah.
I I can say, okay, we moved to Buruburu in 1976.
Yep.
Yep. So I, being the firstborn, I think I matured very early because
Mm,
those days
mm,
our parents used to give birth to very many children. You know, I
mm,
am a firstborn,
mm,
family of nine.
yep.
Um, I happen to have our second. Thank God because we were all alive except from my late sister, who was my follower,
Mm,
and it happened that I, being the firstborn, my mother got me. I think when she was still in college. And if I can vividly remember, being a firstborn, and she was in college, she was still very young. I think she got me just when she was 20 or 19, 20 there. So I remember as very little, I can remember a bit
mm,
because I found myself once. I used to stay with an auntie who is her sister. And then I was young. So after some time, I think in class 3 or so, I found myself back in the village for just about, I think, 2 terms.
Oh, okay. So you were born in
No, I was born in
Busia.
Nairobi. I was born in Nairobi.
Oh, and then you relocated to.
Yes, I was born in Nairobi. Actually, Pumwani Hospital, the famous Pumwani.
Yeah.
That's where I know I was born. And then I think my mom, maybe that one, if she was interviewed, she would be able to say better because what I know, she was in college. I was born in Pumwani. And then she was staying with her sister, an older sister, um, who I think she follows maybe twice or something because my
Okay.
mom is a seventh born and my auntie who I is still alive, and I thank God because I can vividly remember when we used to stay together and with my cousins who are still as actually they're like my sisters because the early
Oh,
ages
you bonded when you were young.
very young and at least we still bond today, which I thank God, which doesn't happen very I mean it's not something very common. So I found myself back to the village. I think after my mom now got established, finished her college. And then when I went back, I found out now she had also another sister now who's my late sister, who is my follower. And then now we were two for quite some time. And then that is now after my mom settled, I think. And my dad was working in Nairobi then at the Central Bank of Kenya. My mom was a teacher, a very smart and talented teacher because I remember she used to be very smart. And I think I followed quite a bit from her. So we moved to Nairobi and started staying in Buruburu. Yeah, that was in 1976. So as we moved to Buruburu, being the firstborn, then my follower, the late, may her soul rest in peace, who was a very sharp
Yeah,
girl.
may her soul rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Then, so we were two of us for quite some time when we were still young. And I remember I used to be very cheeky, but my late sister was very calm. And we were both very bright because I remember I was very bright. And even I can remember I was in class 3, I think, when I was staying with my auntie. And we moved to Nakuru. That we used to be in Nairobi, then we moved to Nakuru. And I was in class 3, but I remember one day there's an Indian teacher. I used to school in a school called it was called Nakuru West Primary School, but I think currently it's called Mamangina, if I'm not sure, near Shabab somewhere. So I was in class 3, and I remember one day a class teacher, he was an Indian called Mr. Sethi, if I can remember. He came to our class and he called me, he picked me, and then he told me I had to go to class 7 then to teach, to teach mathematics. And actually, I went and taught the mathematics. So you can see I was a bright girl. And then remember, I even used to get prizes. And but I was still very jumpy. I love playing a lot and very sharp. So after we moved to Nairobi, my mom now got my brother, who now I can say is my follower. Because when we were moving to Nairobi now, I remember my brother, actually we were 4 when we were moving to Nairobi because I was the firstborn, my late sister, then was my brother, then a sister, who my sister now, uh, so we were 4 when we were moving to Nairobi. And when we were moving to Nairobi, my mom was expecting, I remember, very heavy, very heavy, because I was the
She was a
firstborn.
fertile lady, yeah?
We can say that, those days they never used to use, I think,
Yeah, anyway, and they used to start bearing kids when
very early.
they're at the
And
peak of their
yeah, that
fertility.
was it.
So
And I think people were not really informed. So inflation was not really a thing.
no,
So
but you know what? I think that's what Mother Nature wants. Yeah,
exactly. So
it's the human lifestyle that tries to circumvent biology, but
oh,
Mother
oh,
Nature wants you to start having kids from when you're 13. But
exactly.
obviously, psychologically, you're not
Why
prepared
maybe
for that.
these people are getting complications because we are trying to fight the
Yeah,
natural.
we're going against nature.
Yeah. But anyway, you can understand because even things now have changed. Inflation is,
Yeah, because you have to sort yourself out
yeah, definitely.
psychologically
Yeah.
and financially.
Exactly. That is
Yeah.
what is happening. So, okay, we moved to Nairobi. My mom was very expectant. So I remember when we moved to Buruburu, there was an uncle, I think. My dad was alone, yeah? Being alone in Nairobi. And my dad, I will not be ashamed, he loved the bottle very much. And even to date, he still loves that bottle. But I thank God because at his age, he's still strong. And actually, many of his friends who we used to remember, they used to drink with, even back at home and all, most of them have gone, but he's still living strong. So I contribute that to, maybe I thank God for his grace to him. And maybe my mother also has played a big part for him being alive and still strong as he is.
He's
Okay,
stress
so
free. I
yeah,
don't.
okay, so when we moved to Nairobi, I think just barely 2 weeks, if I can remember, my mom went to get my fifth born brother, because when we were, I remember she was cooking, and all of a sudden, because when we moved to Buruburu, there's an auntie of mine who was there, who was staying. They were staying. Now my dad, being alone, I think he decided let my cousin come and the family. You know, men. So he was very careless. So at least that auntie and that uncle, they took care of that house, and because in fact, they are the ones who are there with my dad, because being alone, I think he found the house is big and why can't I? I think he was a generous guy, if I can say. So that auntie of mine is actually who alerted my mom and told my mom back in the village, you, if you don't take care of this house of yours, because my dad had bought that house in Buruburu. But apparently, my auntie came to learn. I think my dad was planning to sell it without my mom. You know, now he used to come to he comes home, and then I remember he would come home, drink all the money, and even my mom, being she was the teacher in back in the village, she would give him fare to come back to Nairobi. So my mom didn't know what was happening. In fact, if it was not for that
Yeah,
auntie or
see,
they have
that used to be the setup, especially for guys
exactly.
from Western Kenya and Nyanza. You work
You
in
leave your
Nairobi, then you
you
leave
want
your
to
wife
go
and
back
kids
to the village, yes.
in the
So,
village.
mhm. So now when we arrived, my dad was like shocked and he was like not ready for us to come and all. But my mom, being a teacher and very stoic, and she was still young and very vibrant, she said, I have to come, whether you have nothing. Because my dad was like, oh, you know, I have to settle first. My mom said, no, we will come, whether there's nothing, we'll start from scratch. That's how we moved. And now, okay, she went, got my brother, who was the fifth born. And then now, as she comes, of course, now I'm the firstborn. And we have others. And we are still young. Remember, I'm in class, I think, 5 or 6. And then I remember I was enrolled at Ufafa Jericho Primary School. And now my other siblings, of course, are still at home. And then they start nursery. And now being like, I'm now in the primary. And actually, and my other sister now, she was enrolled at Buruburu Primary. I think that's when it was starting. So now we were like, me, when I would wake up, being the firstborn, my mom has just given birth and she's busy with the small one. The others are still in nursery jumping around. So now I took over the role. I was now the
You
mother.
became what?
I
Super nanny.
became a mother when I was in primary, I think in standard 5, 5 or 6. Yeah. So now I think I got so responsible that I would wake up in the morning. My mom, of course, has a small baby. The others are still small. And then now I would wake up, clean the house, put water, for people to bathe and all. And now I took over the role, and I was very comfortable. By the way, I never thought it was anything, because now I am the eldest, and now my other sister, she was a bit stubborn because now she thought she's the small one. So we would really fight. Actually, we would really like. Now I took over the role as a mother because my mom is busy taking care of this one. This one is crying, and also I would do the dishes. I even learned how to cook very early, clean the house, and that's how I think I got the responsibility very early. So we continued, and I grew up, went to secondary school. I was a very bright girl. Now you remember, I'm a very bright girl, but I have a lot of responsibility back home. So now, these things sometimes we take it for granted, but sometimes parents can make your children not to reach
Their
their
full potential.
their full potential, because when you're too many, now for me, there was nobody who was to take care of me as a
So
child.
you are raising yourself.
Exactly. I was raising myself and raising my siblings, and trying to see what the future. I didn't even know what the future is. Me, I was just. In fact, I would.
Did your younger siblings ever tell you, oh, Shauri yako, why did you decide to rush for the firstborn slot?
Not really. I don't think they ever told me that. They assumed. I don't know. Because now, after primary school, then now, unfortunately, I did very well. I remember at that time, but still, I remember I was called. I went to St. Teresa's Girls. Now St. Teresa's Girls Sicily, and it was a beautiful school. Even to date, though it
See, it's a Catholic school.
was a Catholic school then.
Yeah, yeah. Most Catholic schools
So
are run well. You went to St.
St. Teresa's
Teresa's.
Girls,
I was just
yes,
saying it's a Catholic school.
yes, a Catholic school, a beautiful school, and we used to love it. And now you see, it's a day school, yeah. But because when you did your CP and wherever you're called is where you're called. Because I remember when I got my results, I did very well. So there's a friend, actually not a friend, my classmate. We got the same marks, and I remember she was called at Kenya High School, and I went to St. Teresa's, and then I was like, why is she going to Kenya High and me I'm being taken to St. Teresa's? So I was like, if my parents were the parents today, I want to believe I would have been taken maybe to Kenya High, Loreto, Limuru, because I remember I was not very comfortable. I really wanted to, because I selected, I think, Limuru, Loreto, Limuru. I wanted to go to Limuru Girls, Kenya High, those were the schools.
Well,
And
because they were what?
they were the top
Those
schools.
national
So
schools.
they were good. We knew they were good. So I knew definitely with the marks, and I was bright, I was going to go to a good school. So me, I knew I was going to either Kenya High, Loreto, Limuru, Limuru Girls, and I used to love the Limuru Girls because it was called chocolate and the brown. But then I went to St. Teresa's and I was like, and you see now my parents, being with very many children, they don't even concentrate to see this child is bright. Let's take her to this particular school because she's got the potential. So I ended up in St. Teresa's Girls, which I don't regret. I was there. Oh, still bright, doing very well and all. But now at home, we are many. In fact, by the time I think I was finishing,
You're not alone, by the
girls was a good school because we had a swimming pool. We had kids who came from
and I think
yeah,
during your era, I think almost all schools had
had
high
beautiful.
standards of
Exactly. It was beautiful and it was still run by the Sisters of Convent. So we'd
yeah.
really mingle with the Loreto Msongari. Would go, and I was being a very, I was, I think, very jumpy and very hyper, and I was a sports lady. So what I did, I made sure I joined the sports. Yeah. So everywhere, whether it was swimming, I was there. Netball, I was there. Athletics, I was there. Volleyball, I was there. So every time we were traveling to different schools. We were today in Pangani, we were playing hockey. We were in Kenya High, we were playing this. I was in Cross Country, we go to Patch, that is Nairobi School, we were running. So I was all over. So you see, with that, I'm not concentrating so much in my
on
yeah,
academics.
yeah. As much as I'm bright, but I'm so many. I mean, I'm so and being in a day school. In the evening, we are catching our buses back to Buruburu. Back, we have girls from Jericho. Where so we were, it really occupied me, and I think that is what sort of made me not really perform my potential because now my parents, my dad, remember, loves the bottle, so he has no time to see whether the children are really working and I am the first one. My mom is so busy because by the time I was finishing, I think we were already 6 or 7, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So now, me, I'm controlling myself. So I come back, and we had friends. Would go to a friend's place from school. We pass. I remember we used to pass a place called Outering with my friends. From there we go. We eat at my friends. We come back. We pass through mine. We eat, and then we go to a friend's also. In Buruburu, there were the city council place. So I had so many friends, and I remember my mom would only say, "Hey, you have too many friends. You have too many friends." And you see, I was a social person. I loved people. I loved. So me, I was hyper, enjoying my life. I'm enjoying my school. So somehow, when you're too hyper, you forget one side. So fine, I was in school, but I was so hyper. I was in sports everywhere. And not that I was very good in sports, but I wanted to make sure every time the trip, that's when we were going out, I was there. So it came. I did my it was called KCSC. So after we did that, because of that too much or whatever, I didn't perform very well. And I was not happy because I knew I was a university material and I knew I was going to go. So now after I performed that way, then now is when my mom really realizes, this girl was a very sharp girl. She has to go up to, and we used to go to Form 5 and 6. So my mom is like, no, 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 no. She has not performed very well. Yeah. She's gotten a third division. She has to go because that is not her portion. You see, now is when she's realizing, So she contacts an auntie of mine, who I love very much. She was a bright lady, an alliance student. And my parents actually, my mom's people, they were bright people. So I believe some of those brains are from my mom's side. because I have an uncle who was a minister. He was a minister of finance. He was a permanent secretary. So the brilliance is there. We have doctors. My auntie was an Alliance Girls student. My mom went to Butere Girls. So I think that's when my mama realizes, this one, she's supposed to be a university material, but no. So she calls my auntie. That time she was at Siriba Teachers. And she says, hey, can we get a school? Because this girl, I think, she needs to go back so that she gets to university. So my auntie looks for a school and she gets where? Mukumo Girls, which is also a beautiful school. And now
See, it's also a sister school.
yes, same. I remember it was under Sister Rita, a very sharp nun. And so I'm like, I'm again excited. You know, those days we'd be like, oh, people were, I don't want to repeat it. So my mom says, okay. Then I hear Mukumu Girls, and you know, Mukumu was when Mukumu was Mukumu. So I go back, I go to Mukumu. I love the place. You see, I'm still excited. And you know, my mom is not really looking at, there's a problem somewhere. She's not seeing. She has too many children. Me, I'm just like, oh, now it's Mukumu Girls. I'm from this now, Mukumu. And Mukumu was known for volleyball. So me, I'm there. I've already gotten again another way. I've joined. I'm
You
in
joined
volleyball.
volleyball.
And I'm in drum, I'm in music, you know, and even since I love music. So I'm in volleyball because we'll go out, we'll go to Singu, we'll go to where, we go, you know, so I'm still in my same. So what do? As I'm there, again, I get the same grade. So no improvement because I'm still in the same. So now my mom realizes, now this one. So I come back to Nairobi. I've enjoyed myself in Mukumu. I've come
So,
back to, yeah.
is
So
it safe to say you went to Mukumu for a holiday?
exactly. So I'm enjoying. Now I'm getting pocket money. My auntie, I close school. My mom thinks that I should not come to Nairobi. I should stay at Siriba. I go to Siriba. Oh, and I've jumped something. Now where my life started going down. So I finished St. Teresa's. I now as I am in my 4th year clearing, we're staying in Buruburu. Then across there's you know, Buruburu, we have the mansionettes, and then we have the
Like
the bungalows.
terraced
Yeah, the
houses.
bungalows, and then we have the mansionettes. So opposite there's a house. It's number 15. So that house,
You even remember the number.
I remember very well. I've got a sharp memory. So now we are in yeah. So opposite number 15, it's it's a mansionette. So it's up and downstairs and upstairs. So there are these young guys staying in number 15. Yeah. And we are staying down 2023. So I think a guy is there, looks, hey, there's this chick, you know, now I'm in Form 4. I'm already now,
Light skin.
I'm now looking beautiful. I remember I used to be called Malaika or something. So now
You are the baddie of the estate. That's what Gen Zs are calling beautiful women nowadays. Baddie.
remember, as much as I'm that, I'm a very good girl. I'm not I'm not really into, you know, guys and whatever. No. By the way, I was my mama's girl because we were everywhere my mom went, I was there. Because now being the first one, if she's in church, I'm there. And I thank God for that because it really shaped who I am today. So now this guy sees, and one day, it gets into another. And now this guy sees a young girl, beautiful, and I'm approached. So remember, I'm in Form 4. So I think it also contributed in me not performing very well. So now I am here. I'm in Form 4. Nobody's bothering whether what is what. My mom is too busy with the children now already. She has started teaching somewhere else. She's too busy, you know, because we'd even help her mark for the students and everything. So I had too much, I think, that I was carrying. I'm the house girl. Okay, we had the house girls. Now we've got some girls. So the girls come and we play with them like we are just the same. So that's how now, after being in Form 4, I get a boyfriend. I'm getting a boyfriend. My first boyfriend.
There's no one to scare him off.
My dad will come late. He's drunk. He'll come and make his noise. So we were used to it. So me now, being cheeky as I was, I've gotten a boyfriend. So now me, I sneak. Now I start knowing how to cheat my mom. Oh, we are going for a party, my birthday party. So you know, girls, the way we are. Oh, my friend has a birthday party. So I start, and I disappear. So my mom is so busy with the children, she doesn't even know. So I'll go. I've met a boyfriend. it went like that. So after now moving from St. Teresa's, that is now, from 4 St. Teresa's, yeah, I've gotten a boyfriend. So I moved to Mukumu. Going to Mukumu, this guy, he doesn't want to know how can the new catch go to a boarding school. And one day he just arranges and travels and comes all the way to Seriba.
He followed you.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And I remember that time, my auntie comes to Nairobi, I think to mark exams or something. So we are back in Siriba with an auntie of mine, the youngest of my mom's sisters. And she's still alive today. And if she would see this, definitely she'll remember very well. So now she's the one we are with. I'm on holiday. Now my mom thinks I should not come to Nairobi. I should stay in Siriba for holiday, so that now I can concentrate.
Yeah? Was she trying? Oh, did she know about this boyfriend?
No, she does not know. She does not know. She does not know. It's only now me, and now I convince my auntie. My auntie, she's older than me, but we are buddies. Yeah, because I'm a people's person. So I tell her.
So she was more like a cousin.
Yeah, because she was now the last, but she's much younger than Kina Mom. So because I remember I heard my grandmother gave birth to her, so she also never grew up with the mother. So she's been growing with uncles, brothers, sisters, like that. So now we are good friends. So I tell her, my boyfriend is coming, blah blah. So we arrange, and we meet him in Maseno, and he comes, and we are and now I'm in Form 4. Remember, now I'm in Kumu, and my mom thinks I'm working hard. Me, I'm still enjoying. I've gotten a new boyfriend. Do you think I'll do anything better? Nothing. So I finish my Form 4. I still get the same grade. So I come back to Nairobi. I come back to Nairobi. Of course, the results come. I've still gotten the same, the same grade. So now my mom decides she should now go because the opportunities. And my uncle then, as a PS, my uncle, may God bless her because he's still alive today. And he helped so many people to get employment, especially people from back in my village, and even some who are not from my village. He was a very generous guy. And I think that's why God has given him long life. So he gives me a note. I go, get employed, Central Bureau of Statistics. Wow. And that time I'm comfortable. Central Bureau of Statistics, we start doing the survey. It was called household budget survey and all. And you see, life was so easy. So I'm already from school. I'm still very young. I'm only 18, turning 19. I've already gotten a job. Yeah. And
so you didn't tamak?
No. I never know what tamak
Lucky you.
No. Me, I think I was born lucky. As much I was yeah. So I get a job. Now I'm at the Central Bureau of Statistics. We start. I have friends. I meet good friends. I have a friend we met at the Treasury. We are still friends today. And actually, I know how to keep my friends. Yeah. So we get to Treasury. We start working. And, we're young girls, beautiful. And remember, now my boyfriend still follows me. That time he's also in college. Yeah. He's still in college. So he's now happy. Yeah, the girlfriend is back in Nairobi, and now I'm working, so it's easy to meet. And now he's in college. Yeah, he happened to be at Utalii College, and now Utalii was Utalii then. Where it is not what it is now. It was a beautiful place. So now I'm working at the Treasury. My boyfriend is at Utalii College. So now I am a big girl. I'm 18, turning 19. So now we arrange weekends. Sisi Nani, we are in Utalii. I get some friends. Now we are young girls. The way young girls go. So he says, can you come over? I take a friend or two. We go to Utalii. We go to the dining. We are eating good. Life is good. And now we meet friends and life continues. As I'm in Utalii, I'm in the Treasury. So my mom realizes, no, she needs to get some profession. So now I do what? I get application. That then it was called government secretarial. So my mom thinks, that was secretarial. So it was the thing. And because I was beautiful and all, I think I would have been made a good secretary. So now we apply where? Government Secretarial College. And it happens to be that there's an auntie. The person who was the principal actually was an auntie. I think it was a cousin or a wife to my mom's cousin or something. So it was easy to get the position. To college. So I apply government secretarial. I'm taken. So you see, as you're taken, you're supposed to go for a test and whatever. You know the way you do all those things. So as I go for the test and whatever, eh, what happens? I'm expecting. So what do I
Oh.
do? I can't go to government secretarial, isn't it? I can't go for it.
What was it like a rule
Yeah,
that they're not admitting
yeah. When you're
expecting?
yeah, when you're expecting, then they were very strict. When you're expecting, you can't go. You can't be admitted.
Why? I mean,
Yeah,
it's not as if it was
yeah. So
training you to do manual work.
exactly, but remember, rules are rules, eh? So
Oh
that,
yeah, anyway, I remember there used to be a rule
yeah,
about
yeah, because
married women not joining the police force or the
yeah,
army.
yeah, things
It
like
used to
that.
happen back in the day.
Okay. So anyway, I didn't manage to join because of that.
Mm,
I was
mm,
expectant. So
mm,
now that's a disappointment number one. So now my mom is like, what? So, but lucky enough, I have a
mm,
job, isn't it?
mm,
Yeah. So I
mm,
I carry my pregnancy.
mhm,
I'm working, and right that then now my boyfriend, and remember he was my first boyfriend. Yeah.
mm,
He's still in college, so he finishes. Then he does what? He gets attachment. He goes to Mombasa. You know the hotels. Those were the
mm,
Soroba hotel. The
mm.
hotels were beautiful. It was a beautiful,
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful. So he goes. But the good thing, he never actually rejected me. He was also
Mm,
very happy and
mm,
ready
mhm,
for the child as much as he was in college. But at least now
mm,
I was working in the government and I had some little money. And at that time, at least life you
mm,
could survive.
mm,
So then I'm still staying in my mom's place. That is, I'm still at home.
mm,
I get my son. Yeah,
mm,
at least I'm still working. But you see now, my dad being the lion, you know, those, my dad, as much as he didn't care whether you're going to school or not and all that, he would really want to see that where is this pregnancy from and who is the
mm,
father of. I was expecting my son,
mm,
firstborn. I lived in hell, but
mm,
somehow, I think being the firstborn, I was not, I can't say I was tough, but I think I never used to care. It was like it's the end of the day. He'll come, shout, we run. And you know, my mom was ready, you know, she was still strong and she would really try to protect me. And my mom really protected me actually. And that
mm,
is one thing
mm,
because she never, if she didn't protect me, maybe I would have broken down. But my mom was there for me. When he would come and try this, then she would really protect me and all. So I carried my pregnancy.
Is your mom Wanjiro by any chance?
My
Is
mom,
she Joki or Wanjiro?
no, 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 no. My mom is a real Marachi woman. She's called, hey, she's a tough woman.
You,
She's an iron lady. In fact, I call her an iron
okay.
lady. And to date,
Uh,
I think many people can attest to that because I remember even the students used to tell me, hey, your mom is harsh. She used to beat us. Yeah. And you
uh,
know, back then, when you're
mm,
a teacher's child, people would
mm,
respect you because they knew,
mm,
hey, this one,
mm,
don't touch. Yeah.
mm,
So after getting my son, remember the father is still now on attachment. He's just finished college, so nothing much. We don't have anything much.
mm,
So I'm the one to struggle. I'm staying with my son. I'm working, yes, but then my dad every day noise and
mm,
all. In fact, when I gave back to chaos, I had to move out
mm,
a bit. Then came back. I stayed at an auntie's place.
mm,
Then came back. Then
mm,
now I had to move out. So I moved
mm,
out. I moved to a place called Umoja. I
mm,
was actually I rented a room in somebody's house, but I was still
mm,
comfortable. But the good
mm,
thing is now the father to my son
mm,
would assist where he could. You know, as
mm,
much as he was on whatever, he would do what he could. And then later, again after 1 year,
mm,
because you're still together,
mm,
I get another pregnancy. So remember that time. Actually, that time I'm still at home.
mm.
When I get my second pregnancy, yeah, I decided upon now I can't get two
You have
children.
to move out. Mm,
I have to move out. So that's when I had to move out to Umoja. So
mm,
when I moved out,
mm,
I stayed a bit in Umoja. Then an auntie of mine connected me to there's an auntie who was staying in. I even moved to Lavington.
mm,
So I said, like, I think God had prepared that me. I was supposed to live a good life, but it's only that
mm,
things never happened. So I moved to Lavington in an SQ with my sons. Now my firstborn is about, I think, two and something, 2 years.
mm,
Then I'm getting the second one.
mm,
So we move, and now I start employing to house girls. You know,
mm,
now I'm living in Lavington. It was a place called near
mm,
Strathmore School. That's where I was. It was called Mzima Springs, around there. I can't remember even where I was staying. Though now they've been renovating the place. Huh? So I moved into a SQ, which was a good place. And then now the children grow. Then now the father, who was my husband then, now since he realizes, hey, now I have two boys, so he comes, finishes his college. Then now he comes, he moves in briefly, and then we move. Now life starts. So we move. Lucky enough, he also came from not a very bad home. Eh? It's a home of we call the Abamis of Wanga, from Wanga land. So he had a cousin who was very well off, who was a renowned guy somewhere. So he had, no, first we moved to, from when he came, then we moved to Harambe Estate, which was a good
Yeah.
estate. It is still a
Yeah.
good estate. Yeah. So we moved to Harambe. Now life started being good. Now he's gotten a job. Yeah. He got a job at the carnival. And now life, now it's starting to kujipatia. So now me, I'm feeling good. And even my son, now we move, and then we enroll him to a school called Wanja and Kim. It was called Wanja and Kim at Buruburu Phase 2. And it's a nice school where they pick
Yeah,
children.
it's a private school.
It's a private school, a beautiful school. So now, I'm still very young, because now I think I'm about 24, 25. Yeah, 24, 24, 25. So my son starts school, then the other one is still growing. Then when he gets to when he was still in kindergarten, my firstborn, we move. Now again, we have moved from Harambe. I think when my son now was 3 years old, there's the big one. So we moved to South Sea. It's called Kariba Dam Estate. South Sea. And then, not Kariba Dam, no, is it Akimba or Kariba? Whatever. It's in South Sea. Yeah, somewhere just after Nairobi West, you go down and then somewhere. So now I'm progressing. I'm moved to a house where it's wall to wall carpet. And remember, I'm still very young. And now my husband then, he's now working at the carnival. He's a manager. And now we're throwing parties, birthday parties, barbecues. You see, I'm now, so everybody's starting to envy and like, wow, life is good. So then now we move from South Sea. He now gets a house. We move to Langata, Uhuru Gardens. Now there's this new estate. It's called Uhuru Gardens. So we moved to a house. It's a house now. The first phase 1 of Uhuru Gardens, which is South Langata. Yeah, and I remember that house was owned by one former governor of Kakamega, by the name of Mr. Wycliffe Ambetsa Oparanya. That he was our landlord then, before he even went into this politics. And the wife, I remember, that is the first wife, who is called, what's her name? Why am I forgetting? Anyway, Priscilla, a very nice lady, very nice lady. So they were our landlords. And then now when we moved there, I forgot to say, my second son, now after we are growing, we are doing well. My son, at 9 months actually, they discovered he had sickle cell anemia. So it was really a tough and frank time. Remember, I'm a young mother. I don't know what this is. It's today he's sick. Today we had Gertrude's, and it was tough. But somehow, I think being the firstborn, I just used to manage. We go to hospital, he's transfused, we come back, and life goes on. So it never really put me down. Yeah. So I have two sons. We're there. Then we enrolled them at it was called Mara Road, near opposite Kenyatta Hospital. There was a school. It was called Mara Road. It was also a beautiful school.
Another private school, eh?
Another private school. So you can see life is giving itself. You're doing well. My husband then is a manager, doing well. Now wealth has come. He has bought his first car. And then again, after that, he even now bought a house in Uhuru Garden Phase 2. Now we've moved from Ambeta's house. We've moved
to your own
to our
house.
own house. But now, before we moved there, life has started teaching me dust. Because now I'm a young girl. This guy is now at the carnival, getting married, seeing ladies, and the ladies are seeing him, and he's a young man. He's only, I think, about 27, 28. He's not yet even 30.
So it's like he hasn't enjoyed life.
Exactly. He's gotten money now. The money has come. Then women are all over him. Remember at the carnival, when carnival was carnival, when it was new. You see, now, for me, I'm young, but I'm my manager's wife, yeah? So you have to go for these dinners, you have to go for this breakfast with the big people. I remember there was a Mr. Six, there was this, it was called Mr. Danford, who's, those, the pioneers of Carnival. Not now, Carnival is nothing now, as far as I'm concerned. It was Carnival when it was Carnival.
Yeah.
There was the Bisumis, there was I don't know who.
Yeah.
So, me, I'm being introduced to this life of high class, but in my house, hey, I'm now seeing dust because this man now, this young man, has seen this girl has now got 2 children. She's a woman. She should be.
She's not going anywhere.
She's not going anywhere. She should stay in the house. Now women are seeing him, and he has the money. So now hell breaks loose. So now my stress starts. So
Were you
now
still working at this point?
Now, funny, I've not told you. When I was at the treasury, this guy, sometimes men can manipulate you without you knowing because I was young. So he decides you should leave government work. And remember that time I think I had moved to Sharia House. Now I was in Sharia House from the CBS, then we transferred, went to Sharia House. So now, after Sharia House, actually, I went to Nyayo House. I worked in Nyayo House. So now, instead of working myself up to go maybe do statistics because people were doing it in that time, so he tells me, now you should go train, do hairdressing and beauty so that I'll open a business for you. You see, now he's already put for me something that was not in me. So he put in me, go train. And actually, he took me to a college. It was called LaBelle, School of Hairdressing. And there was Kenya School of Hairdressing. So those were the schools and they were good. So me, I'm like, and me, I like good things. And ooh. So I leave my job, I resign. I go LaBelle School. I train and I do actually very well. I remember I got one of the highest diplomas in hairdressing. We were doing an international. It was based in London, but we're doing it. So I got a diploma, a London diploma, which would allow me to work even in London. So now me, I'm good. I'm feeling nice. I've gotten an international diploma. I can even work in London. And this guy actually has paid for me. He paid for me that college, and which I appreciate. So it made me now become a beautician, and actually now that's where now my career channeled to. So after I finished LaBelle, as I was waiting for, we moved. I remember we started a business with a friend who were in college. She came from a very rich family. The father used to be a mayor in Nakuru, and they owned a building in town. It was called Lotus House. So, and the husband also used to be with now my husband at Italy. So they knew each other. So when we met, when we met at the college, so it was like, we are vibing. Our husbands are hoteliers, and now this is a girl who she's rich, and they have this building. So we opened a salon. Imagine, from college we came and we started a salon. So we started, but you see, being very young, we couldn't manage. We didn't really run well for some time.
And by the way, it wasn't like your
It
own
was
idea. So
it was not my idea. So I was just doing it. But now I'm confused, but I'm there. So we do it, then it doesn't go down. Then now I move out because that time I remember we were living in Uhuru Gardens. That is where I told you now, Mr. Wycliffe Ambetsa's house. And then there's an extension. So what I decide, let me now operate from the SQ. Exactly. So you see now already I've started. I'm still young, but I'm now juggling life. I'm starting a business. It's not in me. I was working, so I'm really confused. So I open a business there. Then now this guy is still working at the carnival. He's enjoying his life. So he started frustrating me in a way. I think he's seeing beautiful girls, and now me, out there, people know he's a good guy. He's really, everybody would go, treat people, but home, hey. It's a different thing.
he's an animal.
Who are no talking, no nothing. You have to figure yourself out. Sometimes you can't even be given. I mean, anyway, it was hell on earth. So I just stayed. Then he started frustrating me. Then in some time, before now, he bought the house in phase 2. It's like we are not talking. We are talking.
Oh
He has
God.
brought in. Remember, I've not told you. I'm now staying. He's brought in his sister, his brother. I'm still young, but now he's brought in his people to stay with me now. He's the guy, the guy in the village who's doing well. So the relatives should come. Mara the uncle, Mara the grandmother. I'm supposed to be taking care of all these people. And now I'm still young. I don't even know, what it is. So he'd come and complain. oh, you don't like my people, or you're not taking care of my grandmother. The grandmother is supposed to be taken, I don't know, to hospital. So I know nothing. I'm not even 30. I don't know nothing. So me, I'm
So
confused.
you really didn't have time to enjoy your life because
Mhm.
you are super nanny back home.
I was a super nanny.
Then now
Now
you're a mother.
I am caring for
And then you
the
want to, you somebody brings strangers in your house
exact.
for you to take care of.
You have to accommodate them and to show them love and what they want. And a grandmother who's ailing, you cook this, she doesn't want. Then when the grandson comes, Amefura, she's swollen that. It's like she has not eaten. And now she's not told you, because me, I didn't used to understand. Okay, Marathi, I knew Kimara. She's a Mwanga, so she'll talk in Mwanga. And because we've grown up in Nairobi, I'm not so fluent in the Marathi, but I know quite a bit of Kiluya. So now she reports to the grandson. Oh, she's not eaten, whatever. So I've cooked people to eat. I don't know that you're supposed to give special.
She,
So he
she,
comes now, it's me. Oh, you don't like my people. Oh, blah, blah, blah. So now the wrangle starts. You remember he's out with girls. He'll come back in the morning. Today he might decide not to come back. So me, worried, where's my husband? I would call maybe a friend. Then he'll come and say, oh, you wanted to put it on BBC. What? So, me, I'm just a good wife worrying about a husband, but him is like, why are you worried about me? Worry about your life. So you see, life, you're just confused there. So that is how it was.
okay,
So
just carry.
he, after getting too many people in the house, no independence, you don't know what to do. So things got worse. Now he's out with girls and women. You'll hear these stories, you'll hear that. But you're just there, frustrated, nobody to talk to. Your mom and your brothers and sisters, they're there, they think you're doing very well because your husband is a big guy and he has the money. Now he's driving, he has bought even a first car, he's got a second car, though you are just there. So now, after things starting to go downhill, we now move to our house. That is according to me. That is in phase 2 now, Uhuru Gardens. So now there, things are even worse. Who was a neighbor, actually, when I was at the salon, and may God rest her soul in peace because she went to be with the Lord. She was called Mrs. Shambi. She comes and tells me, because she would come to the salon and I would make her hair, and she I think she liked me. So she would see like I was getting frustrated, and I am young, I have these young children, and would share one, two. So she tells me, oh, I sing with this choir. And I used to love singing because I remember even back in primary, I had sung with the St. Philip's Jericho when I was in primary. I think from standard 6, I started singing and I continued. So when she told me about St. Barnabas, and I used to admire this church because when I was in St. Philip's, we still used to hear about St. Barnabas, how popular it was. Then when I heard of that, I was like, wow, that is where I'm going to go, because I never even used to go to church. And I'm an Anglican born and bred and still in Anglican church. So I joined St. Barnabas, and I go and I join the choir. And that is where I think that is what made me not break down in my life, because it kept me. Anytime I would feel down and I would sing and life was okay, the father of my children would do whatever he does, but I wouldn't care. He'll come frustrate me, do his things, and I wouldn't care. Me, I was focused in my God, and I would sing, and that would make me happy. And after I joined now St. Barnabas, I was very happy. I would sing as much as he would come with his own whatever. I would hear, oh, he has this girlfriend, he has that girlfriend, he has that. So that never used to really get me down.
You had God.
Yeah, after I joined now St. Barnabas, I think all my focus went to God and the church. And you see, my mother had brought me up in church since I used to sing even in St. Philip's Jericho. So that was my normal thing. So I would take my children, we go to church. And remember, their father was a Catholic and he never bothered about church and never anything. So me, I went to St. Barnabas Church, which actually I'm still a member even to date. So I went to St. Barnabas. Now life has gone down, but I'm in Uhuru Gardens, and people think I'm doing very well because my husband is a whole manager at the carnival, driving, looking good.
You're
Yep,
not wearing your problems on your sleeve.
exactly. So I went to St. Barnabas, I started singing, and I was a good singer. I have the voice, I can still even sing today. So as I joined, I get the choir is doing well that time. were singing. The choir master was called Mr. Ominde. He's still alive, Mr. Ominde. I go there, I get people like the Juma Odembas of Kayamba, Africa. Okay, then they were not in Kayamba, but we were in church. So St. Barnabas was St. Barnabas then. So I joined, and we start singing, and then it comes that there's a trip to Spain. So as I'm singing, and before that, then when you join St. Barnabas, you'd be auditioned to go to any trip because they have to get singers. They didn't want just somebody. Minde was a strict guy. So we were trained, and within I joined St. Barnabas like today. Within 6 months, people were going to Spain.